I don't know. Well, here's all I'm saying. As long as I'm going to be angry, let's do the closest thing to an angry segment I've got today, man. You know what I mean? Phil, have you heard about what's happening in Cuba this week, man?
Oh, boy.
Lord.
I wish I
is a mess. I wish I hadn't, too. But the fact is, it might be important to pay attention to. It's about freedom. Cuban Americans say shortages don't explain protests. Guys, if you don't know, the American media would have you believe this week that the people in Cuba are protesting right now because they don't have enough COVID vaccine. False! That is not at all what's happening out there. In fact, lack of access to medicine is only a small portion of everything that they've got a problem with out there. Now, right here, this article says 5 things to know about the crisis in Cuba. All you really need to know is this: has been under communist rule for 62 years.
Yup. Bing, 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 bing.
You know, when I see that, I just think that's really all I need to know. No wonder they're pissed. I'd be fucking pissed too, man.
Questions answered there.
Yeah, we've seen so many reasons why that doesn't fucking work. We look, if you look into it, it's all the typical things you expect to see with a communist regime that's been in power for too long. People are starving, their money's not worth anything,
lack of
authoritarian rule. Yeah, they're able to shut off basic services for people.
No
in
freedom
fact,
of speech.
Definitely no
basic
freedom of
freedoms.
speech. In fact, they've gone so far as to cut the internet off in Cuba so that the people on the ground there can't dispel what the media is saying about what's happening and make the regime look bad. That's unbelievable. You're cutting off communication to these fucking people? Well, unfortunately for the communists in Cuba, we got a little bit of a plan for that, maybe. Could balloons power uncensored internet in Cuba? Look at that little guy right there.
What?
That's a goddamn internet balloon. You see that shit?
That's the future of piracy, dude. We need to make a big balloon, like a hot air balloon ship, like something out of fucking Final Fantasy.
You're saying we should get a boat. I like this idea already.
Absolutely, a big Final Fantasy style floating boat, like a ship, like a pirate ship, but with big air balloons, you know. And we'll fucking fly it over Cuba and broadcast pirate internet signals, bro.
Pirate internet over Cuba. I like it already. That's the second out of 5 things to know about the crisis in Cuba. Up next, independent journalist Dina Stars arrested by Cuban state security during an interview where she's covering the protests. So the same people that wanted to disprove what the regime was saying and do interviews and be on the internet and give some information, they got cut off. No internet access whatsoever, but even on television, man. Look at this right here. Y'all want to watch it? We'll watch it. Fuck them. Look at this.
I want to see it.
It's in Spanish, but we can get the gist. Tina, did you want to say something? I can't hear her. Her mic's muted. She said state security is outside. I have to go outside.
Okay, all right.
Oh, shit. So while she's in the middle of doing this news interview, the state fucking security squad
holy shit
showed up at her house. Showed up at her house because they didn't like her saying anything negative about the government. Now, what were we just looking at with Google Drive? You can get clipped if you disagree with government standpoints. That's literally what the First Amendment protects us from. And look what's happening in Cuba. It's a few more minutes, and a lot of it you really can't see anything. We won't go through the whole thing. Suffice it to say, at the end, the lady gets arrested. She gets fucking arrested. She was on the news talking about what she thinks about this issue, and that was enough for her to go right to jail.
Damn.
Charging too much for sweaters, right to jail.
That means
talking bad about the communist government. Right,
that means that could happen to us.
That means it could happen to anybody. That's right, man. That's exactly fucking right, dude. And so, in a fucking communist regime where a country like Cuba, who's well aware of what happens in the United States, is going, Jesus Christ, I can't believe what's happening here. We got to get out of here. We've got to get to a country with some actual fucking freedoms, at least freedom of speech, goddamn. And these motherfuckers are willing to brave it to try to come to the United States. Now, in my mind, the United States has always tried to be a country where when shit gets all fucked up where you live, you can come here and we can try to fucking help you out because we're in pretty good shape overall. Now, this is not to say that I'm buying into the they just want a better life line of thinking, because I don't buy that shit in the fucking least. Let me tell you something. If I get sick because I ate a McDonald's hamburger, Ruth's Chris does not owe me a steak just because I wanted a better life. That means nothing. That means nothing. You know what I mean?
True. I mean, that's true.
But what I will say is we've always tried to be humanitarian to a degree where if your country's fucking you over, you can come here and fucking enjoy freedom. Does that count for the able-bodied men who walked across multiple countries to come here to try to get American jobs illegally and then take the money out of the country? No. Not who I'm talking about at all. But I heard when it was those people involved, I heard many times that they should all be allowed in, and it's horrible that we're not giving them immediate citizenship, and they shouldn't need ID to influence our fucking elections and all these different things, because the people who were putting that opinion in front of you realized that they were going to be able to get votes from a group that they asked to come in. Cut to
man, big
this
ding,
year.
Ding, ding, man. Big ding, ding, ding.
Cut to this year where people are literally fleeing a communist dictatorship in a country where their families are starving. If I've ever heard a reason that you should be able to seek asylum in the United States, that is the fucking one. And what did we do this week, friends? Who saw it? What did we do this week? Homeland Security Chief says the U.S. will not give refuge to those fleeing Cuba and Haiti by boat.
Now, but you
Yes.
just said that those other people could come in because they knew they were going to get votes and stuff. Why wouldn't they possibly allow these people to come in?
You mean these people that are tired of communism ruining their fucking country and they want freedom to do what they want, to say what they want, and to try to create an American dream? Yeah. And guess who doesn't want that shit?
Why would they not want that? Who doesn't want that?
Who possibly couldn't want that? I mean, is it possible that it could be somebody who has very large financial dealings with the largest communist government in the world? That's doing me a big And by the way, can I just say, for all the times that you hear people who were born in the United States talk about how much they hate it here, and I can't stand that it's not perfect today, so it must be worthless, and blah, blah, blah. You live in a country where you have the fucking written into our legislation right to say anything you fucking want, and the government cannot come for you. Now, does that affect private residences or businesses? No, of course not. They can do whatever they want. The government cannot take you to jail for talking shit about the government. It's the very first thing in our Bill of Rights. Meanwhile,
which you're doing on your iPhone, by the way.
Right. Yeah, no shit. Meanwhile,
Just
they
saying.
arrest this lady for speaking ill of communism. Arrested her on live television.
Burn.
And these people who just want the fucking freedom to go to work and say what they want, they aren't good enough to fucking come here? Well, big surprise, man. Cuban anti-government protesters wave American flags during their march. And that's 100.
That's why.
That's 100% accurate. For all the people in this country that claim to hate it here and they have it so bad and it's so oppressive to live in the United States, you have no fucking idea how good you have it. The worst situation for the homeless in this country is better than some of the fucking very hard-working lives that people have in third world countries. I'm not saying Cuba's a third world country. It's not. But I mean, just on a grand scale. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, have you ever seen that shit where it'll be like a shot of an entire city of lean-tos on the side of a mountain in Brazil? Those motherfuckers have to work 18 fucking hours a day. You know what I mean?
Man.
Now, do they have their fulfillment to some degree with life, family, religion, all of these things? Sure. Sure, they have a happiness that we'll never know in the land of technology. We'll never know the simplicity there. But what I will say is those motherfuckers have to work their asses off for nothing. There ain't no government programs to save them. There ain't no rich capitalists walking by to put money in their fucking cup. And there damn sure ain't anybody offering them a job. They work their asses off generation after generation for so little. So little to the point that the homeless in this country have more than they do because our tax dollars provided to them. These people recognize that the United States is a worldwide bastion of freedom. Is it perfect? No, of course not. Nobody's ever said the United States is perfect. We are a constantly evolving country, man. We're a constantly evolving way of life. That's what keeps us at the forefront, man. So why do you think... What?
I believe there is a phrase in one of those important documents that says a more perfect union.
That's correct, man. It doesn't say in order to create a perfect union. No, no, no. It says in order to create a more perfect union. The implication being that they knew it wasn't perfect at the time and that it wouldn't be in the future either. We have the option to continue to move forward. Meanwhile, having a fucking foot on the back of your neck from a communist government prevents you from doing that. So much like you find in Hong Kong or Taiwan, now in Cuba as well, people that are being held down by communism, what's that symbol of freedom to them? They are waving American flags in their fucking streets. And if you ask me, when we are starting to become crowded with people that go, I hate it here, I'd be willing to make a trade for people that desire freedom on the scale that these Cubans do right now. And that's the whale's honest truth, whether you're dead or alive.